doing your job. But I also know what it feels like to overcome adversity. And so I stand on solid rock. And I will not bow. I will not break. I will not bend. I will not capitulate. I will not give in. I will not give up. You come for me, you gotta come to all of us. All of us. Every single one of us. We're all in this together. You see, I've learned to stand on the shoulders of my ancestors who've been before, who came before me and weathered the storm. And despite being seared with scars, they survived. And if they can survive, so will we. So over the last few days, I've summoned their strength and their courage. And I will keep fighting for justice. I will keep fighting for New Yorkers. I will keep fighting the aggressive policies of Washington, D.C., and I will not stop.
That's Letitia James. She just freaking rocked it, knocked that ball out of the park, just decimated. She's out there saying what should be said. Yes, we all got to stick together. We're all in this against an administration that seems to be totally comfortable trying to send the United States military into American cities. And if priests decide to show up and try to minister people who are in the ICE facilities, they're going to be blocked, even though that's like their religious calling. This is like what Catholics do. It's what the saints call on you to do. It's literally what is in the St. Paul was in prison. This is like if you read the Bible. That's what it is. Christians going to prison and people saving them because God within the Bible is saying it over and over again. Missionary to people who are in prison. Why? Because of Matthew 22 verses 25 to 40, which is pretty clear. God's highest law is that every single person that's in prison is like your brother. So is the victims of the people who are in prison. But you have to treat them with family, and that means that they get respect and humane treatment, even if they didn't give the victim humane treatment, because we, the people outside of the prison, who are free with the survivors of the crime, to be humane to them as well. So when those missionaries, when those bishops are not allowed to see prisoners who are destroying their religious freedom, their religious obligation, which is part of their religious freedom, to shoot a priest in the head with a paintball, with a pepper ball, is also beyond crazy. Because is he preaching to the people who are doing things wrong? Yes, because that's what he's supposed to do. That's what Christian obligation when you're seeking injustice is, to stand up, and he is standing up. And what does ICE do? They shoot him in the head. What happens with Letitia James? She gets this stupid freaking prosecution about, like, oh no, you lied about renting the house that you had your family stay at. Well, her family stayed there more than enough time to qualify for the loan to be at the rate that she had, and that seems to be about $47 to $53 a month is what people are saying is what she, quote, defrauded the bank out of. But she had her family staying there more than enough time to be able to qualify for the exemption that she got. So it's likely that charge is just dead. What she's probably going to do is the same thing what James Comey is going to do, and anyone else who gets prosecuted at this in violation of their 14th Amendment, which is malicious prosecution, because you're supposed to be tried equal to that of everyone else. That's why what you will hear inside of the trial are all the other Republicans who have really committed serious bank fraud in the millions of dollars, or other people who have committed millions, hundreds of millions of dollars of bank fraud. And those individuals need to be treated at the same capability as her, with her $47 or $600 a year. If that's not the case, then it's a violation of her 14th Amendment, and what she will do is cover with more malicious prosecution by being able to show that Pam Bondi went around all these procedures, that Trump barked an order and said, prosecute this person, and then she did, okay, I'll go find someone who will, and then they finally got someone who will, who is one day of experience. She's going to call Pam Bondi. She'll probably call the FBI to come to the witness stand to be able to sit there and explain these things, like if there was any connection, because she's going to find that quick. And the president himself may even be called to testify in her trial. And if her attorney doesn't do it, she'll do it herself. So that's the good thing about, being an attorney. She just doesn't try to be her own counsel. She just will do the paperwork for her counsel and, take part of the cost of that out, just because of placing Pam Bondi on the witness stand and forcing her to say that this was a political prosecution to punish her for basically finding that the Trump administration defrauded the state of New York for hundreds of millions of dollars. She will do that. She will bring Trump to that witness stand and say, okay, at the worst, accepting the possibility of how much my fraud might be was $47, although it wasn't a fraud because my family stayed in that place not paying rent the required time for them to be there without paying rent to get that loan rate. No crime, I didn't. You created a decades-long method of trying to evade taxes and loans and all of this stuff at a cost of hundreds of millions of dollars. She is going to barbecue this man. And she's going to do it because she knows she can. And then you know what she's going to do? She's going to go over to the Judge Ho case when it came to the threat to the state of New York, when it came to threatening the former mayor, what is going to soon be the former mayor, of putting him in the position of, following these insane, immigration policies that have already violated rights all over the country, and to enforce that or put him in this blackmail. And she'll probably file those charges in about 10 minutes, hopefully, that she will finally complete that and do what Judge Ho said when he saw that thing, and said that this looks like a crime of malicious, of bribery. And that's where this is all going. So yeah, you come to one of us who are going to be out there on the 18th, you come for us all. When you come for us, we're going to be out there saying that the United States military does not deserve to be in the American streets. You come for us, you come for us all. That includes those soldiers who understand that there is a bond between the soldier and the civilian, and that they must maintain that bond, and it mustn't be broken. And if it is being strained now, then the responsibility of the soldier is to tell, like the president, listen, Mr. President, we will not break this bond, ever. It's the same thing with law enforcement. If the strain between law enforcement and the civilian population is strained under the concept of what is supposed to be the ethical moral principle behind to protect and serve, because that is not like a marketing slogan. Protecting and serving is fundamental. It is part of a sacred bond. Just like that, what soldiers have, this is what law enforcement must have with the community, federal, state, and local. And if you break that bond, you're done. You will not get any law enforcement done. No one will trust you. The people must believe that you are there with them, that you treat them ethically and responsibly, that you treat their neighborhood ethically and responsibly, that you are there to protect and serve. Why? Because you're law enforcement. You have the power to do horrible things to people because you are law enforcement, but people give that power to you out of the trust and the bond of protecting and serving. Letitia James gets that. Her ancestors called, which is our ancestors, not just black ancestors, but all ethnic ancestors, all gender ancestors, understands this very simple thing. There is a sacred bond between the civilian population and law enforcement, the civilian population and the military. The civilian population, who is just trying to leave their lives, have a sacred bond that you will not abuse them, that you will stay within the four corners of the Constitution at all times, or they're going to have problems. And it is beyond any question right now that these things are happening, particularly like trying to arrest Letitia James for something that she did not commit any crime to, because her family members were living in that other house for years, which is more than enough time than what is required by the special rate that she got, that was a $47, maybe 50 some odd dollar benefit a month. A tiny little benefit. But that tiny little benefit required them to be there for a certain length of time, and they were there for that length of time. Therefore, there is no crime. There is no fraud, because she lived up to her requirement. And that shortened length of time is there because it's only a $40, $50 issue a month. That is the most badass speech that I've ever heard. Letitia James, you're amazing. I got your back. We all got each other's back, because we're up against preserving the sacred bond between government and its people, between that of the military and the people, between law enforcement like ICE and its people. That is what is being broken. And when that breaks, it's over. When that breaks, law enforcement can't get anything done, because the people no longer believe that they can trust that you will be there for them. Military states don't find criminals because people don't trust the military people being there. All investigations are conducted by the military. They generally don't involve the people because the people don't trust them. We are going to stand together. And as far as I'm concerned with Letitia James and what she said, that is exactly why I'm going out on No Kings on the 18th. See you in the streets. Thank you.
When I recorded them doing that, I looked down, I panned down to the ground, and then that's when I saw the pastor and some people on the ground as well. And so there was nothing that was provoking it. He wasn't doing anything that was being seen as anything threatening. And when I saw him getting sprayed in the face, I was thinking that this was so surreal. Everything was happening around me. I've been to many different protests over my life. Never have I experienced anything like this.
Ready to link arms.
ICE has officially denied the request, so I'm sorry we'll not be able to approach the fence off the conclusion, so I apologize. What's that? We communicate with them through our command post, so that's just I told Michael.
Officer, do you understand that we're just
They completely understand. They completely understand. We explained it, obviously. That is their determination. We have no control over who they allowed off, to approach the fence or not, but in this case, they have denied that request. sorry to be the bearer of bad news.